Hi, I'm Claire and this is the second part of my ginormous September book haul. I have a few things to show you, so let's get started. The first thing that I got was from Hot Escape. It is Caravelle by Stephanie Garber, and this is a book about a circus coming to town. This is the arc and it is just really gorgeous. It's got sprayed edges. It says, "Remember, it's only a game," and then "Welcome to Caravelle, where nothing is quite as it seems." And here in the inside flap it says, "A mesmerizing, magical, stunningly imaginative debut novel. Perfect for anyone who loved The Night Circus or Daughter of Smoke and Bone." This book is also beautifully put together on the inside. It's got some kind of pseudo end papers here, and it's also got a map of the town, and we always like to see maps in books. We've also got these letters at the beginning of the book that are kind of reproduced with handwriting fonts and things like that, so that it looks like you're seeing the actual letter. I always really like that kind of play with design in books, and this looks like it's an excellent one for that. The finished cover of this book is also absolutely gorgeous. Next, from Hot Escape, I also received a book that I was so excited to see in my mail, and that is The Science of Game of Thrones by Helen Keane. In the back of this one we've got questions like, do dragons actually exist? What really happened when royal families interbred? Can you really kill someone with molten gold? How does wildfire win wars? And where can you find a direwolf? And in the inside flap it says, "A myth-busting, jaw-dropping, fun-filled tour through the science of your favorite fantastical world, Game of Thrones." And I have kind of leafed through this book and had a look at what the topics are that it talks about, and quite aside from these questions in the back that were already quite fun, literally everything that I've seen so far looks like the title of a panel that I would queue to go to at a convention. I don't think I'll be doing a full review video of this book, but what I'm thinking I will do is a video about a bunch of different books related to Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, because I have a few of those now and I think it would be really fun to look at. The next two books that I have were from Orbit Books, and they are Wake of Vultures and Conspiracy of Ravens, books 1 and 2 in the Shadow series by Leela Bowen. For those of you who don't know, Leela Bowen is a pseudonym for Delilah S. Dawson, who is an author I follow on social media, and I don't know about you, but I often find myself adding authors to my to-read wish list based on how funny or intelligent their Twitter feeds are, so Delilah Dawson is definitely someone I wanted to read for that reason, and I hadn't gotten around to it yet, so I was really excited to see these books show up in my mailbox. This is a YA series that looks like it's a Wild West with magic kind of setting. Our protagonist is Nettie Lonesome. She is a young woman who lives a hard life in a hard world filled with hard people. It says here on the back, she is a half-breed who dresses like a boy, is raised by folks who don't call her a slave, but use her like one. She knows little else until one day a stranger attacks her and she kills him, and then all of a sudden she can see the monsters that people the land. And that, you know, sounds like a pretty cool premise to me. I'm not gonna lie, girl who dresses as boy to do a thing is one of my favorite tropes ever. As far as I can tell, the first book is all about Nettie figuring out the abilities that she has and how she can use them and how she can be safe with them and how she can find people to teach her how to use those. And in the second book, Conspiracy of Ravens, obviously things have happened from the first book, and I'm going to not say the one thing on the back of here that sounds like it might be an actual literal spoiler. Now, for the rest of it, it says, "A powerful alchemist is leaving a trail of death across the land," which sounds terrifying, but also cool because alchemy is awesome. But of course, Nettie has to stop this person, and the issue seems to be that she has to do it alone, and she cannot go and do that with her friends and the people that she's found, presumably in the first book. That's as far as I'm gonna read on the sell sheet of the second one, because I actually really want to read these. Recently I also went to a workshop at the London YouTube space, and when I was done with that I checked out the new YouTube content creator store that they opened like a couple weeks ago. I don't actually watch a lot of YouTubers that have big merchandising lines, so there wasn't actually much there that I was dying to buy. One thing that I thought might be fun to get for myself was this Draw My Life book. It basically takes the concept of the Draw My Life video and puts it into a notebook. So it's got little prompts for you to draw and then write something about your life. I thought it might be fun to doodle some things whilst watching TV or something like that, but mostly I was in the store, and this is more or less a notebook, and I have a problem with buying notebooks that I don't need. So naturally I ended up buying this. The last book that I want to show you is in this really adorable package. This came to me from Joe Fletcher Books, and I am going to unwrap this now for you. I know what's in it, but I still thought that it would be cute to open it up on camera. I'm not going to keep the paper, even though it's cute. I'm just going to tear at it because that's easier. And it is The Hidden People by Alison Littlewood. It says here, tragedy is only half a step away. This is a Victorian mystery story with undertones of horror and fantasy. The story kicks off with the death of Lizzie Higgins, a young woman who burns to death in front of her own hearth and whose husband insists she was a changeling. Her cousin Albie Merrills, who's only met her one time a long time ago, decides that this is weird, and so he leaves his wife in London and goes to the village where Lizzie lived to investigate. But of course it's a rural village steeped in mystery, and it's not as easy as all that to look into the death of a young woman, especially when there are changelings and hidden people involved. It sounds like the perfect book for this time of year, and I love anything Victorian or even remotely Gothic, so there we go. So that's it. This was the second part of my giant September book haul. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of those books, if you're interested in any of them. Give me your thoughts. If you'd like to see more from me, you can check the sidebar right here for more videos. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button for new videos from me every week. I've been Claire, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.